Hi everyone. So today we are going to learn how we can create a dashboard in Power BI from scratch. So we have this dashboard created and we want to replicate this dashboard. We are going to create this dashboard from scratch. So this is a sales dashboard. We can see that we have some slicers. We want to filter for any dates. We can apply these date range slicers, which will work on the dashboard. We have country level slicers to filter the dashboards at the country level or category level slicers. These are all interactive slicers with which we will be able to filter this dashboard. We can see the result for these tables like top 20 customers, top 20 cities based on either sales metric or profit. If I switch between these metrics, these tables or the maps gives me the result by those metrics. So we want to create a dashboard like this. So let's learn how we can do it from scratch. So for this, let us learn a bit about the data that we are using. So let's go to the table view and understand the data. So this is a sales data and we have multiple tables here. First is the categories. So these are the product categories that we have. So we have 8 types of product categories here. Then we can go to the product dimension table. Product dimension table has details about the product. So each product with the product ID, which category it belongs to. So there is a category ID. Then the specifications of each product, like what is the unit price, in stock units, on order units, etc. Then we have the customer dimension table. Customer dimension table will have details about the customer. So all the attributes for the customer for this data, customers are businesses. So if you see each of these customers, these belong to some companies. So these are business to business sales data. Okay, so we have information like customer name, who is the contact from the that company, what is the address, city, region, country, zip code, etc. And finally, we have the orders information. So that is in the orders table. So we have orders, we have individual orders, who placed the order, customer ID, where it is shipped to. So details about the order. And for more on the transaction, we have order detail. So within the order, which product is purchased, what is the unit price of that product, what is the number of units that were purchased, if there is any discount given or not. Okay, so we have this discount values as well. So all of these tables are added together and we have created this model which will just make appropriate relation between these tables. So orders and order details relate with each other with the order ID. Order ID is the relationship field, right? And it is one-to-many relationship from orders to order details table. Then from order details table, we have relationship with the products table based on the product ID. From products table, we have relationship with the categories table based on the category ID. Then we have orders table related with the customers based on the customer's ID. And then we have a date table as well, which is linked to the orders table based on the order date. Okay, so this is our data model. Now, before we start building this dashboard, we need to create certain measures. And as we had learned, that whenever we need to create measures, it is better that you create a separate measures table. Okay, so we can create a separate measures table. In that we can add our measures. So to create a separate measure, we can simply go to we can go to the table view, or let me edit directly a new table here. Okay, so we can go and add a new table, right? This is the new table, and we can simply enter, and this table is created, and it has just one blank column right now, right? So this table got created. I will rename it to measures. Since measures, this measures, if we keep measures, it'll give me a warning that we cannot keep measures as the name of any table because this is a reserved keyword or reserved string. Okay, so I will not use measures. So I'll use a workaround here. I will just keep it underscore measures. With this, it'll be able to store, it'll be able to create this table with the name measures. And now within this, I can create my measures. Okay, so the first measure that I would want to create is I want to calculate sales, right? I want to calculate sales. So for calculating sales, I can go to the order details table. In order details table, we know the unit price, we know the quantity. If I multiply order unit price with the quantity, and if I also subtract discount from it, I will get the actual sales value, the net sales. Okay, so we want to do this. So what do I need to do? For sales, it will be unit price multiplied with quantity, and if there is any discount linked to it, then I will just multiply it with, since discount value is in uh, decimal numbers, so I will just multiply it with 1 minus discount. Okay, why did I do 1 minus discount? Because discount is in percentage, but here in this data, the discount is in fraction values. Okay, so if you can see here, discount, this is in these decimals. So this means that this is 0.00999, which it means that it is 0.999, or you can say that this is 0.01%, 0.01, which means it is 1%, right? So instead of keeping it as 1%, uh, we can simply do it 1 minus discount. That will give me discounted sales or the actual sales. Okay, so we want to calculate it. Now, to calculate sales, we have to do this operation of this multiplication of quantity, unit price, and 1 minus discount for each row, and then we sum it. Okay, so we need to do it for each row, and then we need to sum it. So this kind of calculation can be done with SUMX function. Okay, SUMX function allows us to do evaluation at the row level, and then we can aggregate it and sum the values. So let us do this. I will create a new measure in the measures table. It is sales, which is SUMX. Okay, SUMX. I need to specify the table. So these fields are from the order details table. So it is order details, and my expression is unit price multiplied by quantity multiplied by 1 minus discount. This becomes my sales. Okay, so you calculated sales. Now I need to also calculate profit. So for calculating profit, I need to calculate the cost. So for cost, we need to multiply orders with the cost price of the products, right? So I need to multiply the quantity with the cost price. Cost price information is in the products table. We have this unit price, right? So for each product, we have these unit price details. So I will need to multiply quantity sold into their cost price. So let us create a new measure here once again, cost, which is equal to, once again, we need to do some X because I want to create a measure which needs to have some aggregation. So my table here is again order details. And within order detail, I need to, from the order details table, we need to take quantity. Okay, quantity, and to multiply it with another field which is in the products table, right? So this is not in the order details table. This field is in the products table. So from order details table, if I need to call any other table, I can use related or related table function, correct? So we will use related function here. Related allows me to bring any field from the related table, which is having one unique value for each row. So from if I need to bring any fields from dimension tables, I can use related function. Okay, so related product unit price. And this becomes the cost. Okay, and now I can also calculate profit. Profit. Profit is the sales minus cost. This becomes your profit. And I also want to calculate average order value. What is my average order value, right? So I need to know how many orders do I have and what is the average order value. Okay, so I'll create, first of all, I'll calculate how many orders did we get. So another measure, which is orders. And this is nothing but distinct count of order ID, distinct count of order ID from the orders table. It can be from the orders table or order details table. Both should give the same result. Okay, so we got the orders, and now I will just simply calculate average order value. Another measure, average order value, which is total sales divided by total orders. Sales divided by orders. Correct? So this becomes my average order value. So we got our measures created, whichever measures that we required here. Now we'll move to using these measures and create our dashboard. So for that, let us go to the report view. So firstly, I would want to, my objective is to create something similar to this, right? So we have created these measures, sales, orders, profit, average order value, right? Now I need to create this dashboard with this kind of look and feel. So let's get started and start designing this. So I'll start with just giving some background to my canvas. So I'll give a background color here. I can go to the canvas setting and I can give a canvas background, and I can give a background color here. Let's say I can give color, and I need to reduce the transparency. Let's say I keep it to 50% transparent, right? Now I will just create some placeholder shapes here. So I will insert some shapes. Let me insert a rectangular shape at the top, and I can keep it in the shape style. I can keep it in the yellow color. Then I can keep another shape, rectangular shape. Right, somewhat like this. Style it with this color, adding some transparency, and I can get rid of borders. I can add some roundedness to the corners. Okay, so this I can copy this and paste it just below this. So I'm just giving background to my visuals here. Okay, so this one I can give a different shade. I can give a bit darker shade over here. And then I can create two more tables here. Great. So now we will add our, first of all, our slicers and the headers. So I'll add a text box for the title. So this is a sales dashboard. This is the title. Can make it bigger, about this much. Okay, so I don't want this white background, right? So I can remove the background from this text box. So go format and go to effect. And in the background, you can just disable the background. Okay, so now background is disabled. This becomes your title. Okay, now let me also remove the borders here. Now let me add the slicers for this dashboard. I want to keep a date slicer, a country slicer, a category slicer. So let us add those two and add a slicer. Firstly, a date slicer. Okay. Then another slicer for country. Okay, country slicer. Instead of the list view, we will make it a drop down view. So we can go to the formatting and go to slicer setting, and in the style, we'll pick drop down. We've got country, and I can simply make a copy of this, just copy paste it, and I want to make one for the category. So simply deselect country here and select categories. Okay, now I need to also format it a bit. So I can give it a formatting with effects, background, keeping the background to dark, black background, with the title with visual border turned on, with some rounded corner, and for the visual values, I will give a white color for the values part. And for the slider header, we can give a white color too. Okay, so this becomes your slider. We can make it, we can copy this formatting and apply the same formatting to the other visuals too. Okay, so this remaining visuals, remaining slicers, I can click on Format Painter and click on other visual to copy the formatting on that visual. Once again, click on Format Painter and click and apply the formatting here. Okay, now for this one, I would want these dates to be visible in the calendar. So I'll need to change that color to white. Values, white. Okay, and we'll just place them close by. Okay, so we have got our slicers here. Now we'll create our KPIs here. So for KPIs, we can simply use the card visuals. So I'll go ahead and pick up card visual initially with sales, the first one. Okay, so I can make it smaller and I can make it further smaller. Can reduce the fonts here. Call out value, I can make it 20, or let me keep it 25. Let me copy and paste it. Keep this here. And for this one, I'll, instead of sales, I want to keep orders. Once again, I can copy and paste sales, and I can make one more here. Let me keep profit, and another one here, which is average order value. So we've got our four KPI: sales, orders, profit, and average order value. Let us format this slightly so I can make it in the effects. I can give a background, slight background color to this. Looks good. Give a border with rounded corners. And I can copy this formatting on the other visuals. Okay, so we've got our card visuals over here. Let me make this a bit close. Okay, so we have got our measures over here. Now I can filter it for any of the country values, right? Any of the categories. Now here, even these values, these are not appearing properly over here, right? Because of the color. Let me fix this. Okay, now your background is also coming in black. So now this is coming properly. You're able to see this. Okay, now we will make one parameter, a what if parameter, a field parameter, which will let me choose either sales or profit, and I can visualize my remaining data based on that. Okay, so let us create a field parameter. Okay, so we can go to modeling tab, and here we have these new parameters, and I'm going to use a field parameter. Okay, we will create a fields parameter. Let us name it as metric. Okay, metric. And which two metric I want my dashboards to toggle between? It is the sales or the profit. So we can go to the measures and we can select sales. and profit. And it automatically gives us this option to add them as slicer to this page. We'll accept this and let us create it. And here we go. We got this metric, and this is currently coming as sales or profit. Let me format this a bit so we can go and for these in the slicer setting, I will keep the selection as one at a time. Okay, one at a time. So let me turn on this single value select. This automatically converted this into these radio buttons. Okay, so we got this. Now I don't want this header to be visible, so I can turn this off. I want this to background to disappear. I don't want a background here. So we can go and turn off the background. Now background is also gone. I can make it smaller and I can place it in the top header. Okay, now we've got our sales or the profit selector. Once this metric parameter is created, it creates a table in the background. So if you go to the table view and if you go to the metric parameter over here, this basically creates a table and it creates three columns in this table. First is the metric, which has the selected metric values. Then the field references that we are using, the table and the measures that we have selected. And then last one is the metric order. So metric order will typically be starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many metrics that you have added or how many fields you have added, right? So if you need to do any kind of calculations, any dynamic calculations, you can use these fields and create any calculations, right? Now, if I need to display these metrics on the fields in the visualization, I can unhide these. These are by default remains hidden. Okay, so I can go to the model view and from here, if I need to unhide, I can unhide these and they will be visible. For now, we'll keep them hidden. Now, let's create a visual which will show the sales or the profit by countries. And for this, I'm going to use a map visual. So let us select a map visual. Here, I will choose in the location, I will choose country. So from the customers table, we can bring country here. We've got countries on the map. And then for these bubble sizes, we are going to use this metric that we created. So metric, we can bring into the bubble size, right? So now these bubble size represents the how much sales I'm getting from each of these countries, or I can choose profit to show profit by each of these countries, right? Now, here this is working properly. I will just format this map a bit. Let me go to the map formatting. In the map setting, I will use, there are multiple map styles like grayscale or light. Let me use the light style here. Okay, so we'll use light style. And for these bubble color, let us use the our theme color. You can go to bubbles, colors, and we can select the yellow color. Now this is good. We can place it on this section. Okay, we've got the map visual. We can make the effects like the visual borders as well and make them rounded in the visual too. Okay, now I will create the tables, two tables, one to show my top customers and other to show my top products. Okay, So let us do that. So I'll use a table visual here, table with customers and the metric value. So we will use customer. So contact name, I will make change this to customer. Let us change this to customer and we'll use metric as another column. So metric would be sales or profit depending on what we are selecting here in the parameter. Okay. Let me fit it into the this view. I'm leaving space at the top for the title and we can make the table formatting changes too. So I can go to the style presets. Let me use the minimal. Let me also increase the width of these columns and let me also apply conditional formatting to the sales values. So we can go and go to cell elements. From cell elements, we can select sales and we can apply data bars. So this will automatically just give us a visual indicator on which customers are contributing more to the sales. And let me change this bar color from the default blue to the yellow. Okay. And we can sort the results by clicking on the header. Okay. So we are getting all these values properly. Now I need to show the top 20 customers. I don't want to show all the customers, top 20 customers. So for top 20 customers, we can use filters and from the filters, I can use the top N feature. So I can go and on the customer, I can apply top N filter, top N, and I want to keep top 20 and based on by value. So for by value, we need to use the metric, right? So if we bring metric over here, okay, so this is working. But here you see this metric when I bring here, it is giving me this option segregation option like the first value, last value, or count distinct count. So the problem here is that when we use the parameters, field parameters in this top and filter, they are actually not treated as the measures, but they are just treated as the text values. So this is one limitation right now in Power BI. Maybe it will be resolved in future, but for now, we need to use measures only in this here in by value. We cannot use parameters. Okay. To resolve this, we'll create a measure which will also give us dynamic value for these matrix based on the matrix selection. Let us do that. So I will add it within the matrix table. Let us create a new measure and let me call it dynamic matrix. And here we'll use a logic like if the selected value, we'll use selected value function. If the selected value from this matrix parameter, matrix, and here now you can see all the fields that we had in the table, matrix field, order, right? So we will use the order over here. So if the selected value in the matrix order is 0, remember 0 was for the sales and 1 for was for profit. If it is 0, then use the sales measure as the output. If it is not 0, which means it will be 1, then use the profit measure. Okay, so we have created this dynamic measure, right? And this is added as a measure, not as a parameter, but as a measure. And this I can use in this top end filter. So let us drag and drop it over here in by value. Okay. and add top 20 and apply this filter. So this is working now. We are able to see the top 20 results now by sales and by profit. Dynamically, it is giving us this result. Let me also format this by profit visual too. So we can go and apply the conditional formatting here too. Go to cell elements, profit, data bars with this yellow color. Okay, now let us see if this is working. It indeed is. Okay, so this is working properly. I will just increase the font size of my headers. So go to column headers, increase the font size slightly. And so this is working. Now we will simply add a title to this visual. We can create a text box with value as top 20 customers. Okay, and we can increase the font size here too. Let's keep it 20, make it bold, and keep it, place it on top of this visual. Let me keep it at the center, and I want to also remove the background for it. Go to effect. In the background, let us turn this off, turn off the background. Okay, so we got our top 20 customers, and let us repeat this for the top 20 products. So we can go and copy this directly here. I will just copy this visual, right? Copying would make me save my efforts in formatting, right? So we got this sales by customer here. I'll just replace it with sales by product. Okay, so we can go to the product table and I can bring product name over here and remove the customer. So now we can see the product name wise. Wise sales, I can make it slightly smaller to fit. Okay, so this is product name by sales. If I select profit, it'll be product name by profit. Let me also align this properly. Okay, so this is working properly. We have to just once again ensure that our filtering is working properly. So here, since we copied it, it is still giving me the top 20 based on the contact name. We don't want that. So we'll just remove this filter. We want top 20 based on the product name. So go and change it to top N and top 20 by the dynamic metric over here and apply. Okay, so now we are getting the top 20 products properly. And finally, we'll also just copy this header, this title, chart title, okay, and place it over here. This is top 20 products. All right, so now we have got our dashboard created properly. We have got all these visuals, this dynamic parameter to select between sales and profit, all these slicers to filter the data for any of the country, category, all those kind of results. This is fully interactive visual, fully interactive dashboard, and we can change even the page name to sales dashboard, and we are fully done. Thank you for being with me. I will meet in the next class.